Dr. Brown, you are not in the movie Red Tails, but you kind of are in some way. What is your
I
connection?
am in the movie
you
because it's about us.
Yes, exactly. So what is your connection to the movie Red Tails?
Well, I worked as a consultant to the movie. I was there when they first started shooting in Prague on an air base that they had taken over, an old Soviet base, which they had reconstructed as a replica of the base in Ramitelli, Italy, which is on the east coast of the Adriatic. This was in Prague. But they did a good job of creating the headquarters, the first aid tent, the press tent, the tower, and I helped the actors to learn how to be Tuskegee Airmen, how we walked, how we talked, how we dressed, and I also helped them to learn how to act like fighter pilots, how they sat in the cockpit, how they moved the stick around, how they looked around when looking at pilots, and so on.
What did they learn that naturally, or did you really have to kind of drill them?
Well, they were great actors, and after a few episodes, they did it very well. The thing is, when you're not accustomed to being a pilot, you tend to think you just move like that. But you move more slowly. You move that.
These guys are playing too many
video games. And they got that, and when you see the movie, you see that they did an outstanding job of replicating what we did as pilots.
Sure, and having lived through that experience, I mean, what was it like seeing these guys in the cockpit, shots from within? Did that feel realistic? I mean,
oh, extremely realistic. Probably the most realistic air-to-air combat scenes you see in the movies, because combat was done digitally, and the pilots were in what they call the gimbal, where they bring them together and they have a backdrop and they film them making these moves, and to interact that in terms of the editing is a tremendous job.
Having been in that perspective, seeing it from the cockpit, what makes it realistic in this movie?
Well, it makes it realistic because that's the way it was. You were sitting there, and you could, as I tell many folks, when I'm in the theater watching the movie and the pilot makes a break, I also make a break because that's something I've been taught to do. It's something that you do by intuition. Once you learn how to do it, you stay with it. So it was very good.
Sure. And you did something else that was very brave this year. You went to New York Comic-Con, and I can't believe I commend you for doing that. So I imagine that facing off against a Comic-Con audience is almost as scary as being, no, it's probably not. But what was your experience like sitting and presenting this movie to Comic-Con fans?
Well, it was exciting. You know, it's not really frightening, but I do a lot of public speaking, and you adjust to your audience, and they were anxious to hear about combat.
Sure.
And when I tell them that it made me feel young again, they identified with that. When I tell them that it made me feel I was in the cockpit again, I identify with that. So that was a really good experience.
Do you think it's important for young people to see this movie?
It's extremely important to young people to see the movie because it shows how you overcome obstacles. The obstacle in this instance would be racism, stereotypes, and segregation. And you overcome it by pursuit of excellence, excellence in what you do, bringing yourself together, get your team together, the camaraderie, and then the fact that you were so dedicated to what you're doing, you go in there, you risk your life, you make those moves, and it happens. So it's something that any person from 9 or 10 years old up ought to see and will identify with. It's a great movie, great action.